Oh no, no. Dang it. I developed some film this weekend. What's annoying is that the toy camera I have came with a roll of fresh film that was 1000 ISO, so really fast. And I finally have some film that's like 800 ISO, but it expired in like 2006, I think. So like 15 years ago it's expired. So maybe that accounts for a lot of the texture, but I found that this film was very grainy, of course, since it's such a high speed, but I can't seem to get the same results from any film as I did from the first time. Also, this film has like a scratch across the top, so you can kind of see a line across all the photos. And there's definitely a light leak in my camera that makes that looks kind of neat. I still enjoy the pictures. It's surprising every time, but at the same time, they're also like the colors kind of muted. Whereas the first time I used this camera, the colors were incredible. So I don't know if that's a processing difference, maybe because I had this done locally instead of shipping it away. But it's super grainy and not really very much color. This was when we were in Steveston and they were filming a television show, so we walked through a set by accident and it was a fake farmer's market, so it had like fake corn and fake cupcakes and stuff set up in these fake booths. There's like a sign that says like, oh, we're apologizing for inconvenience, we're filming here. But that was fun. But yeah, I don't know, these ones are kind of boring in comparison to the first set. This was the first set. Notice like there's no grain at all pretty much on this. It's pretty clear. This blue compared to this blue, it's like so different. So I don't know if that's because it's expired or if it's because this was developed in Ontario and this was developed locally, or because this was printed in a Photoshop and this was printed in a drugstore. I don't know. But I don't think I'll ever be able to replicate this again, I don't think. Distracting background, you like that? Today is kind of hilarious because I accidentally got banned from a Facebook group. There was supposed to be this pattern selling thing, and my friend and I were supposed to be contributing artists to this thing. This business kind of like steamrolled really quickly into a Disney stuff and cartoon stuff. And I've just been kind of ignoring it. We aren't really considered contributing artists anymore. Probably mostly because I suck at making patterns. Like, it's not my strength. I need more practice with it. So it's not something that I was really concerned about until I saw today Calvin and Hobbes products. And I love Calvin and Hobbes. It was my safe place when I was a child. If I was at my grandparents' house and feeling uncomfortable or shy, like that's what I would do. I would read the books. And that's like the last thing that I have from my paternal grandpa was he gave me all of his books. With Disney and other big creators, people rip off anime a lot. Bill Watterson is not only not a big faceless corporation, I don't think that there should be a divide. Like, I don't know why when it is a big company, people start getting entitled about taking trademark characters and making products with it and selling it for profit, whereas when clothing company steals art from a small creator and makes products from that, people get really mad. And it's literally the same thing. But at least like with the big companies, you can sort of trick your buyers into thinking, well, maybe they have a license to sell this stuff. You know, Dairy Queen has a license to sell cakes, and all these other businesses have licenses to sell cups, fast food toys. It's not easy, I don't think, to get a license, but it's not impossible. So it's in the realm of possibility. But Bill Watterson doesn't license his stuff, and he's very famous for not licensing his stuff. So the fact that that was just kind of overlooked is really unfortunate, because I don't want people to get in trouble. As many people know as possible that you actually need to pay creators to use their art, whether they are small or immensely large. In the beginning of every story, Sailor Moon, or like literally any cartoon, there's going to be one person just like me, just like you, who created that, worked really hard, marketed that, pushed through and created that thing and got to where they were. And people suddenly just get really, really entitled because once you pass a certain point, they think, well, this is up for grabs. I'm filling a vacuum of products that aren't available, therefore it's okay. Like, I've heard that one a lot. I don't judge people who buy fan art stuff. I really don't. I'd probably buy it too. But in this story today, like, I posted a little note that says, I love this character and I love this pattern, but here's a link. I didn't say this, but it really does violate the spirit of Calvin and Hobbes. And I think that's why that kind of set me off. It's annoying when people cry on Twitter about how they had their entire income taken away for selling fan art. But, the only reason why it's frustrating is because there are so many of us who aren't doing that, who are just trying to get by on our own merit and our own stuff. I completely agree that it is hard to get by and earn money on your own original art. It really is. And it sucks, but it sucks for everyone. You just lost your unscrupulous advantage that you had over everyone else. And that's like the only reason why I wanted to talk about this, is because the response, like, I expected maybe a little bit of an argument in the group or just deleted my message. I assumed that it would just be something like that. Like, I didn't want to say nothing in case they don't know. A moderator deleted my message and blocked me. Sure. Those darn moderators strike again. I don't care. I didn't really expect such intense reaction, but I'm also kind of disappointed by it. There's an old lady staring at me over there. Well, this is awkward. I opened an avocado before it was ready, and look how teeny tiny. Look how teeny tiny. Learning from the last time, I decided to go ahead and pre-carve whatever to make it a little bit easier. I just have to dig around it now. I mean, they always shrink, right? But like compared to the avocado here, and I just opened one today that ripened. This bag of avocados I bought, I swear it's not just for this purpose. I do very much enjoy a guacamole in the morning, but that's actually something people probably wish for in avocados, to have tiny seeds. But now that I have a use for them, it's like, they're so small, so tiny. It's Saturday. Yesterday we had an impromptu adventure through the forest. It's also like, I've been in stasis for so long, I should get down to work on this Friday, even though the mornings are gone and it's chore day in the afternoon. That's still a thing that I do on Fridays. So on Fridays, I don't get anything done. But yeah, yesterday, I didn't know John had the day off, so we were like, oh yeah, let's go to the forest, because that cafe on the other side is only open on weekdays, and they sell $5 avocados, and we don't know of any other place in Surrey that sells avocados, so that's one thing that I miss from going downtown Vancouver. I don't like when unfinished things are hanging over my head, so one thing that I really wanted to do was get further on the paint by numbers thing. It's hard to get motivated because my issue, like I said, is not about having things to put in my shop. Like, I have so many things. But this is kind of like different in the sense that it is an activity that people can do. So I think that it has merit as an idea. Again, my issue is just getting myself out there, and creating products is not that. But at the same time, like, I do want to finish it because I want to have at least a couple, so that it's not just an idea on a page. And I went through all of the trouble of making it, and I made a video for it. So if you were a patron on March 1st, you will get a tiny version of it in the mail, but it's just line drawing on watercolor paper and the watercolor paints and the instructions. But I posted that as a Patreon video, so if you're a patron, you'll have access to that video and know what to do. Wanted to do it that way so that I can get feedback on whether it is possible, because I have a tendency to overestimate a person's confidence, ability. Maybe what I would do is not the simplest or most straightforward way to do something. And I know that there aren't any written instructions yet. so it's already kind of hard, but the video's there. I also have it as a result that happens if you go a little bit beyond just filling shapes with the color. And I don't know how that's gonna work for general public. I need to write paper instructions for people who don't have access to the internet or to technology where you can watch videos, right? There are entire vast sections of the world who don't have access to internet and stuff. So I wanted to make sure that that was an option. So my hope for this kit is to have everything except the kitchen sink. In this case, the jar of water. I'm hoping people will be able to have their own vessel of liquid. And that's the part that I'm now struggling with. The things that I need are going to be prints of the result. I only want to make maybe 3 copies of this thing because I don't expect to get enough reach, which is a huge setback because that means I have to buy small quantities of things to start. So I need like a little palette of some kind to put that paint on. And I don't want to be like super annoying and wasteful, so I will probably have like a digital version for people who already have paint and just want to have an image to trace onto their paper and know what colors and have the instructions and blah 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 blah. I do want to include a paintbrush. I don't want to send dollar store paintbrushes. I don't know, like I just want something just like a bump up. Closest thing to me is a Michaels and they have nothing, nada. It's just blank wall. I also don't want to jack up the price of this. I might have to go to a Dessert, which is another Canadian art supply store. They have like way more choices. The Dessert starts a little bit lower, so I could get a paintbrush in the $4 range, $5 range if I wanted to. So I might try that, but that means I have to go all the way to Burnaby, and I don't know if it's worth it. I only want 3, otherwise I would order online, but then it's really not worth it unless I'm buying a bunch of them. I should have a more bountiful mindset. I'm gonna need so many of them. But like, let's be real, like I'm probably not gonna need more than 3 anyway. Where am I gonna get tiny palettes? Maybe like tiny melamine plates. I've been talking for so long. So I went to Dessert and I got this rough grain, giving this another chance. I'm hoping that this is a little bit more similar to the other paper that I'm using. It says nothing on the back. Yeah, that's just for me, I guess. I want to get something better than dollar store brushes for sure. So these are the ones that I was kind of looking for. This is the Royal & Langnickel Zen Z73. This is the one that I used before I was using this one, and it was okay. It doesn't last as long. And this is also a multimedia brush. And then I also tried the Moderna one, another multimedia brush, just because art stores in BC seem to be low on supplies. So I only had 3 of the Zens left, so I got one of these, same brand. Maybe it's just as good. I don't know, it looks kind of the same to me. I thought their website was broken because it said the Zen brushes started at like $4 or something like that, but it was the same price for every size. So I thought that the website was broken because that's not a thing. A size 1 brush the same as a size like 10 brush, and yet it was like they're all the same price, which is hilarious to me. I don't know how that works. I'm also trying this Dynasty one, even though I can't actually like source these online, I don't think. I think they're supposed to be sold in gigantic pails, but it looks kind of nice. These are all like synthetic brushes, multimedia brushes, so they're probably not great, but they're probably okay. Ooh, that's a nice one. Ooh, flowers. Turn that preview off. God damn, that's pretty. I was in complete awe of that one patch, and it just continues.